It's our third day in Riyadh, and at 11 o'clock we left the apartment and our base for 4 nights. After a stop at a unique and impressive modern mall with a great water feature, I drove out of the capital of Saudi Arabia with my good travel buddy Cynthia in our rental car to find the way to the edge of the world. We're heading to the edge of the world.
Edge of the world.
Edge of the world, and we're now on a dirt road. We were on pretty good, decent paved roads before, and after the mosque we continued, and we're in the middle of the nowhere. And just before we hit this dirt road, 2 camels were walking on the road. So yeah, we're definitely off the grid now. No cell phone connection. Yeah, kind of flat right now.
Because we're on the edge of the world. We're up on the plateau that Riyadh sits on.
Yeah. This is the spot that all the flat earthers have been looking for. And, yeah. Oh, wow. My name is Plateau, and this is the Radio Vagabond. Welcome back to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Travel is possible at any age. Your sense of adventure is just over the horizon. So, reach out and grab it. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Riyadh is on a plateau, and there's a place on the edge of this plateau called the Edge of the World. It's not the worst road, but not the best either. 4x4 might have been pretty good.
Road? I think you're overestimating what we're driving on.
You would normally book an expensive tour, but we decided to self-drive with some help from a local. And I shouldn't go over the edge, right?
Yeah, please stop short of the edge.
There are 2 access roads to the official point. One is only open on weekends, and this is not the weekend. And the other access was in bad condition and currently only good by a 4x4. And keep going.
Let's stop here and get out and look, and then
But we got lucky that Cynthia has a local acquaintance from the CouchSurfing community. His name is Mohammad, and he told us how to get to the real edge of the world. It's near, but it's not the tourist spot.
We can't get stuck out here.
I'm not going to get stuck here.
No, we're not going to get stuck here.
But look at that cliff over there.
We can walk out to that.
The directions included something like, go to the mosque, go to the end of the road, don't die. I'll give you Mohammed's full message in a bit. But first, let me remind you that this episode is supported in part by Hotels25.com, a website that helps you find the best deals on a place to stay, no matter if it's an apartment, a hotel room, a guest house, or a hostel. Hotels25.com.
And the car paid for itself again today. These tours, I would have done one of these tours if I'd come on my own. There's no question. One person alone, $500 for a tour to the edge of the world.
Wow, $500?
Yeah, and like $260 to $280 for 2 people. It's just insane. I suppose you get to take a few photos or something of that, but it's like insane amounts of money.
And we got the directions from Mohammed. Here's what the message from Mohammed sounded like. Go to the Mosque Amaria Hills. Drive past the mosque, it's on your right. Go to the end of the paved road. Here, go left. Then take the first right, and you'll start to see the edge of the world. Pick a spot along the edge and be careful, as several people died here recently. Thank you, Mohammed.
There you go. You can do this. This is easy then.
These directions seemed crazy, but they worked smoothly. We even saw our first 2 camels at the end of the paved road. If we need to go back, we can always catch a camel. We saw 0 cars or people after the Mosque Amaria Hills. I think this is parking so much in the shade as I possibly can.
Get this right under this lovely tree.
Duh. The edge of the world, also called Jebel Firain, is an unexpected and dramatic geological wonder in the rocky desert. The site earned its nickname because you have an uninterrupted view of the horizon and because it kind of looks like the edge of the world. It's 1,131 square meters high cliffs that lie some 100 kilometers northwest of Riyadh. It's a good place to discover the breathtaking, spectacular views overlooking a deep valley and extending barren desert. Listen to this. It is so quiet. We're at the edge of the world, and we've been driving around for a little bit, and I think we found the good spot. What do you think?
It's amazing. This spot would have been below the ocean floor. It would have been an ancient reef surrounded by sea, and yet here we are, standing literally on what feels like the edge of the world with at least 300 meters of sheer drop-off.
And if you go on Google Maps and search Edge of the World, you would find another spot, and not this spot. But you wrote with a guy from CouchSurfing?
Yes, I have an acquaintance through the couchsurfing community that lives in Riyadh who was kind enough to tell me about the two main routes to what the official edge of the road is, and that there were problems with those. One of them had a gate closed, and one has a very, very hard terrain to get through. And so he said, "Oh, why don't you go where the locals go? Yeah. It's still the edge of the world." And I think this is better. We have not seen a human since we saw two camels.
We saw two camels. So he basically said, go to the mosque and then continue past the two camels. No, he didn't say that. But then it becomes a dirt road, and then you just drive. And be careful, please. Don't stand too close to the edge.
Yeah, even the locals warned me about that. The biggest risk is being near the edge and dropping.
Yeah. And speaking about dropping, I'm just going to do a little test. I'm picking up a big rock here. Yeah. Fairly big rock. I can just hold it in my hand, and then I'm going over to the edge. I'm not going too close because it's pretty far down. And then I'll tell you when I drop it, and then you tell me if you can hear it. You have to listen careful, so put on your headphones and listen. And 1, 2, 3. There. Whew. Pretty far down. I can still hear it rolling down. Wow. Like 10-15 seconds after, I could still hear it going further down.
Oh, it was bouncing.
Yeah. Wow.
Fun.
It's one of the most famous sites in Saudi Arabia, and for a good reason. These cliffs rise dramatically from the desert, stretching towards the sky like a great natural wall, and the cliff's face is 300 meters tall, maybe more in some places. Where we stand on top of them and look towards the horizon, it seems as if the sky is melting into the earth. At the edge, we pulled up to the edge of the edge at several points, being careful not to A. get stuck, and B, not to drive over the edge, like Thelma and Louise.
It's going to be hard to top the edge of the world.
And we got the car facing the cliff, so what do you say, Thelma?
Yeah, I'm perfectly comfortable with it being here.
Yeah.
I don't feel any need to get any closer to the vehicle.
Okay. I think the keys on the... We put the keys on the tire in case one of us falls into the cliff.
That's actually a cute soundbite too.
Yeah. See, that's how grown up we are.
It's very responsible.
Very responsible.
Well, it is. I mean, like, if one of us, let's say one of us had fallen over there, then, and if you have the keys down there, I can't go to get help, or vice versa.
You have to jump after me.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
If you jump, I jump.
No,
we're in this together.
I go get help.
We were at the edge until 4 in the afternoon. It is a must-do in Saudi Arabia. Although it's only an hour from Riyadh, it was unbelievably remote and exciting. From the edge, we could see endless across the desert, and it was created 150 million years ago when the shallow sea existed here. Now there's no sea here because Saudi Arabia is a dry country. And speaking of that, let's have a look at the Saudi weather. It's hot and dry. And that was the weather. No, wait, there's more to it than that. Saudi Arabia is a large country located in the Middle East, and the climate varies significantly across the different regions. But in general, Saudi Arabia has a hot desert climate with very little rainfall. The eastern region and the southern region, just south of where we are now, is one of the largest sand deserts in the world. It's considered as one of the driest places on Earth. Here, rainfall is extremely rare. Sometimes it doesn't rain for a year. In the capital city of Riyadh, the average annual rainfall is less than an inch, 2.5 centimeters. It typically only rains 2 days a year in Riyadh. Temperatures in Saudi Arabia can also be quite extreme, with an average high temperature ranging from the 30s Celsius, mid-80s Fahrenheit in the winter, to 50 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. The hottest temperatures are typically found in the eastern provinces, while the cooler temperatures are found in the western provinces such as Jeddah and Mecca. Overall, the weather in Saudi Arabia is characterized by hot temperatures and low humidity throughout the year, so it's important to stay hydrated and protect yourself from the sun when you're visiting the country. Have a listen to this sound. It's the sound of rain on the windshield here in the car in Saudi Arabia.
We're in the Al Nabib Desert.
How is this even possible? I think it's... Did you say it's around 1 day? You mentioned that we looked it up this morning.
Yes.
How much rain they get in Riyadh?
2 days a year.
2 days a year. Wow. I think we need the windshield wipers.
There we go. Once and it's done.
And and they've never been used. So we got the rare experience of seeing rain in Saudi Arabia. We also saw hail. Yeah, we started the road trip across the country and made a stop halfway to Alula in a city called Hale. I just told a joke. As soon as we were out of Riyadh and headed north, it became very flat with yellow sand. We're driving on a big 6-lane divided highway with very little traffic. The roads throughout our trip are the same. They're large, in good condition, and often more trucks or camels than cars. And thank God, 95% of all the road signs are both in Arabic and English. Some locals told us that they're not driving as fast and crazy as they used to because the government has installed many speed cameras. The maximum speed is 110 kilometers per hour, so driving across the country took a little bit longer time than we expected, and the distances between the cities are quite big in this huge country.
You can follow Palabo on his Facebook page. Join the conversation about traveling and being a digital nomad. You can also see pictures, videos, and stories that don't necessarily make it into the podcast. Simply search for the Radio Vagabond.
After about an hour of driving, we see our first truck with 4 camels seating in the back. The nearly identical white trucks, often Toyotas, carrying 1 to 6 camels. Each truck has a crane to lift the animals in and out, and the camels look relaxed, almost as if they're enjoying the breeze and the ride. Along the way, we also saw 3 different colors of camels: white, brown, and black. Our first sighting of a large group of camels was 12 strolling parallel along the highway. One of the locals had stopped and tried to get them off the road. Next up, we spotted a huge herd of 100 all-white camels, with only 1 black in the group. Then we entered the orange sand dunes. They stretch as far as the eye can see. These are much larger than the red sand dunes to the south of Riyadh, where we went quad biking. The colors of the sand are varied. As you can look both close to the road and in the distance, we see pink, purple, black, yellow, white and orange sand on the drive today.
Good evening. My name is Bond.
Radio Vagabond.
Just after 7 p.m., we arrived to our accommodation in the city of Hale, nestled between the Mount Shammah to the north and the Mount Selma to the south. Hale was once the capital of all the Arabian Desert. Currently, throughout Saudi Arabia, we easily rent 2-bedroom apartments via hotels25.com. They average around $100 per night. This one was $76 for a night. Like the one in Riyadh, this was also a spacious 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit. But here's the funny thing. It only contains 1 towel, and there's not a single utensil or a pan in the huge kitchen. Saudi Arabia is only recently open to tourists, and it's like they're not really ready for tourists anticipating tourist needs. So we soon learned to look and ask for toilet paper, towels, hot water kettle, and kitchen utensils. When we ask, the response is always that of extremely high Saudi hospitality. The desk clerk will say something like, "If we have it, it's yours." And then he would rush to go get the requested items.
Coming up later in this episode.
The next morning, we got an early start without having breakfast, so I thought I'd buy something on the way and just eat it in the car. But then something happened. Something very strange, surprising, and heartwarming. We'll get back to that in a bit, but first, here's a message from a listener, and I got this voicemail from Claire Johnson when I was in the car with Cynthia.
Hi there. My name is Claire Johnson. I am American, and I am also a pretty decent traveler. I've been to just at 100 countries, all 50 states, all 7 continents, all world wonders, all the new ones, and then the one remaining ancient one. I went to Egypt recently. And I work remotely in healthcare consulting, and I do drone photography and regular photography. But I just wanted to say I absolutely love your podcast, and it has such a unique flow to it. I love how you're having communications with people, but then you hear like the background and music flowing in and out and all of that. And I'm going to Sri Lanka on January 5th, so it's been very, very helpful for that. And I'm in Central Florida, so I recently listened to you and Cynthia. My children are 21 and 22, and now I'm out traveling more and, living that unconventional life. And I hope you're enjoying Saudi Arabia. I hope to go there next year. My ex-husband has worked there for 3 years. So I've learned a lot about the country, and safe travels. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, I was in Copenhagen this summer by accident. It's a funny story. But absolutely loved it. Like loved it. I went to 11 countries this year, and Denmark was one of my favorites. Bye.
Hi, Claire. Thank you so much for your message. I am still in Saudi Arabia. Actually, I'm doing this 10-day road trip around Saudi Arabia with my good friend Cynthia that I met. Say hi.
Hi. Just listened to your message. Amazing small world that you happen to call in while we are in Saudi Arabia, and mentioning me in your clip. I hope to meet you sometime when you're not off traveling, maybe after Sri Lanka. I haven't been there, so this is Cynthia saying hello from Saudi.
So Central Florida, you could actually meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So cool to hear from you, and bye-bye.
I would love to hear from you, and all you need to do is click on the banner on the radiovagabond.com where it says "Talk to me," and then just talk. Tell me where you are and what you're doing while you're listening to this. It's super simple, and one of the cool things is that you can listen to it and redo it if you're not happy with it before you click send. You can, of course, also fill out the form under Contact on the website. Oh my God, I just had the weirdest experience. We're driving 4 or 5 hours today, and we got out of town, and I didn't have breakfast, so I wanted to get in and get some at the first gas station, which was a very tiny shop. They didn't have a lot of different choices, but I got what could sort of give me a little bit to feed my hunger here. But then when I came up with my stuff, he said that they don't take MasterCard, they don't take Visa card, they only take the local Mara card, which is the Saudi Arabian credit card. So I had to leave again. I don't have any more cash, so yeah, nothing there. And then we came to a gas station that was bigger, and I went in there, and before I went around picking up items, I asked, do you take either of these cards? And it was the same message. They don't take MasterCard or Visa card here. But then the weirdest thing happened. Another customer, he just said, oh, let me pay. Say, no, I can't let you do that. Yeah, I insist. So I thought, okay, let me just get this little croissant. And he said, no, take some more. And I ended up leaving there with stuff that he paid for. I have a big bag of chips. I have 2 different kinds of croissant. I have some digestive biscuits, and all paid for by this random Saudi Arabian guy that I've never seen before and probably never will see again. Wow, that was so interesting, and what a great experience. On the way from Hale to Alula, we took a driving break in a shoulder by the road. It looked fine, but too late I realized that the sand was fine and soft, and we got stuck in the sand by the highway. And this was just the first time this happened. Getting stuck in the sand will happen 4 times on this trip, and twice in Alula, our next stop. After a bit of digging, shoving stuff under the tires of our car, and pushing, we got off driving again. We arrived in Alula at 3 in the afternoon. It's located in the northwest Saudi Arabia and is known for its historical and cultural significance as well as its natural beauty. It's also known for its ancient rock carvings, tombs and ruins, which date back to the pre-Islamic era. The area around Alula has been inhabited for thousands of years, and the city has been an important cultural and economic center throughout its history and contains many important archaeological sites. One of them is the Hegra, that features a well-preserved set of tombs carved into the rock, many of which is decorated with incredible carvings and inscriptions. In recent years, Alula has become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the Saudi government has invested in developing the area as a tourist destination with the aim of showcasing its rich history and natural beauty. Alula is known for its unique geography with a mix of rocky desert and oasis, unique shaped rock formations, and it's been a key location for many movies and TV shows. When we got there, we went directly to the most famous natural site and one of these unique shaped rock formations, Elephant Rock. It's very quiet when we get there, with more ground maintenance workers than tourists. Later, approaching sunset, 2 information ladies and more visitors arrive. But we have a relaxed stroll and then we sit with a drink from the cafe. Elephant Rock is in front of us, and it towers 52 meters, 171 feet in the air. It really looks like a huge elephant. See pictures on theradiovagabond.com and on Instagram at Radio Vagabond. Just before sunset, we head around Vessel Rock to pick a sunset spot, surrounded by hundreds of rock monoliths.
Next week on the Radio Vagabond.
In the next travel episode, on Travel Tuesday, I'll speak to a young Saudi woman. She's dressed very Western, is not wearing any hair covering, and has a perfect English. How come you speak so well English?
Movies.
Okay.
And music.
Okay.
Thank you, Eminem. Thank you, Eminem. Will a real Slim Shady please stand up?
We'll also head further down to the coast of the Red Sea to Yanbu and the big city Jeddah, where we couchsurf with a local. But also this week I have an extra episode on Thursday. Here I speak to my Saudi friend Jay. He's agreed to answer any question I have. So I have a lot. Let's end with a poem about what's happened in this episode, written and read by an AI.
The radio vagabond, Palebo, went to the edge of the world in Saudi, where huge cliffs loomed high and big drops did flow, and the landscape was beauty to see. He threw a rock down with care, not wanting to drive over like Thelma and Louise, and across the hot desert they did fare, getting stuck in the sand, but not to lose. They met many camels on the way, and a kind Saudi man paid for their breakfast. In the UNESCO site of Al-Ula they did stay, where the elephant rock and unique formations did impress. So come and listen to the podcast, from Saudi Arabia, there's much more to come. With Palebo as your guide, you'll be engrossed in the tales of adventure and fun.
You've been listening to The Radio Vagabond. Please stand clear of the closing doors.
Thank you for having me in your ears. If you like what you hear, please tell a friend. My name is Palebo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Radio Vagabond.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.